Call the meeting to order.
Botts,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Lesh,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes. We have some minutes to approve from the February 24th, 2014 work session, and I move approval of those minutes.
Second.
Botts,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Lesh,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes. Oh, the work session, I was not, I abstained, sorry.
Oh, abstain, I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
And we have some minutes from our regular session on February 24th, and I move approval of those.
Second.
Botts,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Lesh,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Next, we have some resolutions. Bill number 2014-11, a resolution authorizing the city manager to sign contract documents with Mid-River Asphalt Incorporated for the 2014 asphalt improvements, and this is up for reading and passage. Bruce?
Yes, Your Honor, this year we received very competitive bids on all three of our projects this evening, and the first one's the asphalt, and I will turn to Kenzie Russell to cover the details.
Yeah, I think Kenzie is going to plan on talking about all three at one time, if that's okay, guys?
That, I was going to
Okay.
recommend it, actually,
Okay.
so we can get all the states
Yeah.
at once, rather.
Yeah, good.
Get her done.
Get her done.
Thank you. We did receive competitive bids on all three of our contracts that go towards our annual street maintenance, the concrete, the asphalt, and the micro seal contracts. The asphalt contract is an overlay contract. We're doing a little bit more overlay this year than we've done in the last couple of years. The map up here shows the streets. We're going to finish out Promenade. We're going to work on the parking lot there at the corner of Jackson and Clark. We're going to do a couple of streets down in Birdland. Those are Mockingbird and Eagle Drive that we'll do, and then Singleton there in the mid part of the city. There's about 3 blocks that we plan to overlay. Mid-River Asphalt was the low bidder. They were the low bid last year, did a good job for us. We were quite happy with it, and so we have no reservations about recommending them for the concrete or for the asphalt contract. Our concrete contract is just for handicap ramps, and Flowmaster, local company, was the low bid for that at $35,010. Those ramps are primarily on Promenade and the streets there in the downtown area that we are overlaying. So where we overlay, we're required to upgrade and bring those handicap accessibility ramps up to current standards, and that's what's in this contract. We had 4 bids for that work as well. The microseal work we had 4 bids for, and the low bid is from Innovative Technologies, I believe is the name, Innovative Roadway Solutions out of Thayer, Missouri. This is a new contractor to us. However, they've been in business about 10 years. We did some checking. They've done work for MoDOT here in Audrain County and in Boone County. They've also done work for Boone County. They've also done work with some other municipalities. We checked with Lamar, where they've done a good bit of work down in southwest Missouri. Got good reports all the way around for both the product and the contractor. The product is a little bit different than what we've been using from Missouri Petroleum. Missouri Petroleum's been doing really what you might call a micro-surfacing. Has a little more aggregate in it, is a little bit thicker than the product that Innovative Roadways will put down, which is more of a true micro-seal that has a high asphalt content to seal the surface. It has a polymer in it that makes it hard, stands up to the snow plowing and all as we understand it from the references. It is at about half the cost that we previously had been paying, And so we will be looking at doing some additional streets. The blue streets are the ones that we are planning to microseal. That includes South Clark from the bridge down to Boulevard, out around Promenade and Grand and Anderson, out around MMA. We are also proposing to add to the contract, and we don't have that for tonight. We'll award the contract first and get that paperwork done, then come back with a change order. But we're proposing to add Curtis Street and Hendricks Street from Wade proceeding west to Kentucky to the contract. So we'll just about double our microseal work because the price was about half of what we expected as far as engineer's estimate is concerned. All told, the three contracts currently, as they stand, total $171,300, substantially under our budget. If we add to the microseal, that will bring us up to about the $200,000 mark. We will use some of the budget monies for preparatory work that the street department does with crack sealing and patching ahead of the work. We'll hold some of it as a reserve for unknowns. But all in all, the three contracts together were very competitive, and we should be able to do more work than we've done the last couple of years with the same or a little bit less dollars. So we're quite pleased with what we got there.
Kenzie, that engineer's estimate was based on micro sealing that we have used in the past. Is
Yes,
that
sir.
correct?
Yes, sir.
So what we're putting down with this bid is not going to be as thick, not going to be as...
It will not be quite as thick. There's a little less aggregate by weight mixed into it, so it will be a little thinner surface. But what we're looking for is to seal the oxidation and to add that it's the asphalt content that we're primarily interested in. The aggregate is there to add friction, keep it from being slick. It does help where some of the streets have polished off a little bit under traffic. So we will gain, there's sufficient aggregate to gain friction in the surface. But the asphalt content's what we're primarily interested in.
There's quite a wide difference here in the bids.
There is, and it is a little different product. It is actually mixed in a plant and is laid through a spray process as opposed to being mixed on the truck and laid through a drag box. And so it is applied in a little different way. Actually, from what Boone County told us, they felt like the quality control was better, that they got a more uniform, better looking surface with this product.
Yeah, but how does it hold up?
Well, it's been out there. The company says 3 to 5 years, which is the same thing Missouri Petroleum says about the surfacing. It's been out there on the road, on some roadways now for 7 years, and is holding up. So,
Other question I had is, who's responsible for fixing the potholes and things, the cracks, before it's done? Are they or are we?
we do that with our crews,
We do that,
our street
okay.
department crew, and we'll use some of that $250,000 budget to purchase crack seal material and some asphalt for the patching.
Thank you.
The engineer's estimate is that's not the budget amount. You have to add the three together to get the approximate budget amount.
Correct. Mhm.
So $171,300, if I added right, is what we're saying tonight compared to $235,700. So it's about $64,000 difference, and we're going to make up about $15,000.
We'll add another $30,000 if
30.
we do these additional streets.
$30,000. And so the
Roughly,
other-
roughly 30, yeah.
So the other 50 then will be assigned to our crews fixing potholes.
We expect to use probably 15 or so of that with potholes and milling, and then quite frankly, what we have left over, I would hope or propose anyway that we can use that to do some concrete street patching later in the summer.
I'm sure you can find some streets to put it on.
Yeah, we don't usually have a problem finding places that need work.
Can we just get the overlay to come in a little bit cheaper than that? It'd be great too, wouldn't it?
I would, though I can't really complain. The price of asphalt and oil has remained pretty stable, and so our pricing is really, I think, pretty good compared to years past.
It was nice that 3 of the 4 of them came in under bid. That was good.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I move for reading of bill number 2014-11.
Second.
Botts,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Lesh,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes. Bill number 2014-11, the resolution authorizing the city manager to sign contract documents with Mid-River Asphalt Incorporated for 2014 asphalt improvements. Whereas bids made pursuant to the invitation to bid for the 2014 asphalt improvements were opened on February 18, 2014, and whereas it was determined that the bid of Mid-River Asphalt Incorporated was an acceptable bid. Now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the City of Mexico, Missouri as follows. Section 1, the City of Mexico, Missouri accepts the total base bid of $99,353.85 from Mid-River Asphalt Incorporated. Section 2, the contract approved is subject to RSMO.295.675, requiring the contractor to utilize employees on site with the 10-hour OSHA construction safety training. Section 3, city manager is hereby authorized to execute on behalf of the City of Mexico contract documents with Mid-River Asphalt Incorporated, 511 John Deere Lane, Troy, Missouri, 63379 for the 2014 asphalt improvements. Section 4, this resolution shall be in full force and effect from and after the time of its passage. I move for passage of bill number 2014-11.
Second.
Botts,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Lesh,
Yes.
Nichols.
Yes.
Williams.
Oh, sorry. Yes.
Next, we have bill number 2014-12, resolution authorizing the city manager to sign contract documents with Flowmaster Plumbing for the 2014 concrete project. And this is up for reading and passage, and since we've already covered this, I'm going to move for reading of bill number 2014-12.
Second.
Botts,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Lesh,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Bill number 2014-12, a resolution authorizing the city manager to sign contract documents with Flowmaster Plumbing for 2014 concrete project. Whereas bids made pursuant to the invitation to bid for the 2014 concrete project were opened on February 18, 2014, and whereas it was determined that the bid of Flowmaster Plumbing was an acceptable bid. Now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the City of Mexico, Missouri as follows. Section 1, the City of Mexico, Missouri accepts the total base bid of $35,010 from Flowmaster Plumbing. Section 2, the contract approved herein is subject to RSMO.295.675, requiring the contractor to utilize employees on site with the 10-hour OSHA construction safety training. Section 3, the city manager is hereby authorized to execute on behalf of the City of Mexico contract documents with Flowmaster Plumbing, 209 West Promenade, Mexico, Missouri, for the 2014 concrete project. Section 4, this resolution shall be in full force and effect from and after the time of its passage. I move for passage of bill number 2014-12.
Second.
Botts,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Lesh,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Next, we have bill number 2014-13, a resolution authorizing the city manager to sign contract documents with Innovative Roadway Solutions for the 2014 Micro Seal project. This is up for reading and passage. And again, I will move for reading of bill number 2014-13.
Second.
Botts,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Lesh,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Bill number 2014-13, a resolution authorizing the city manager to sign contract documents with Innovative Roadway Solutions for the 2014 Micro Seal project. Whereas the bids were pursuant to the invitation to bid for the 2014 micro sewer project were open on February 24, 2014. And whereas determined that the bids of Innovative Roadway Solutions was an acceptable bid. Now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the City of Mexico, Missouri as follows. Section 1, the City of Mexico, Missouri accepts the total base bid of $36,936.36 from Innovative Roadway Solutions for the 2014 micro sewer project. Section 2, the contract approved hereon is subject to RSMO 295675, requiring the contractor to utilize employees on the site with a 10-hour OSHA construction safety training. Section 3, the city manager hereby authorized to execute on behalf of the City of Mexico contract documents with Innovative Roadway Solutions, HC 64, Box 96A, Thayer, Missouri. Section 4, this resolution shall be in full force and effect from and after time passes. I move for passage of bill number 2014-13.
Second.
Botts,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Lesh,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Under other business this evening, we have discussion of brush and compost operations. Bruce?
Yes, Your Honor, as we have discussed this topic at the last couple of council meetings to try to determine a solution because of rising costs, namely, and the ability to dispose of the product as well and making it the cost increase. I have provided you this evening with a cost comparison, and this is for the last 4 years plus a couple of alternatives for the current year. The 2010 year would have been the last year that the city would have operated the site in-house, and then the 3 years that it was under contract. And then under 14A would be the proposed contract as submitted with Brake Brothers that we reviewed at the last meeting. And then you had asked to take a look at a cost of providing the service in-house, and that would be the 2014B cost. I tried to compare all the costs as you looked at it from operating the same number of hours and the same number of times per week as far as 20 hours of operation. It would require the city, of course, if we took such an operation on, hiring a part-time employee to monitor the site for the intake of materials. And of course, then it would also require some current full-time employees to support the site for product disposal, yard maintenance, and so on. Some of the main reasons why things have certainly changed, of course, is that the cost of the product, where we were able to previously offset the cost of doing this operation by selling of the chips. And what we have found out most recently is that it's becoming more difficult to do that because of the amount of product that's on the market. And so this is why, of course, the contractors have asked for the increase, and this is why it's an increased cost for us as well as if we do it. So in trying to still weigh the council's thoughts from the last meeting about maintaining the service as well as maintaining costs, the second sheet that I've handed out is kind of a proposal to try to do that, in that one of the things that we've had in the residential sanitation budget is an equipment reserve line where we have been trying to hold money back in the reserve account for the purchase of a street sweeper. This budget year would have called for a $15,000 equipment reserve. Therefore, in order to try to balance this and hold the cost down, and as far as the cost of doing this service, the proposal that I would make to you this evening would be is that we reduce that line item down to $5,000, therefore pulling $10,000 out of there. And therefore, that would then offset the cost of the brush chipping under a contract operation. Therefore, there would be no additional increase in cost to the public for the service. Now, obviously, the service would be less hours in order to be able to maintain this. So therefore, the only increase in cost for the year, which would take place here, to be read here shortly, because this is the time of the year that we do those rates, is when the new contract comes in play. So therefore, the cost would have, where we were proposing before, would be a 3% roughly. It reduced the cost to a 1.2% increase by making that shift within the budget. And as you can see, under the highlighted under the blue would be the current rate at the 1070. If you did the rate adjustment, which would be in the green as proposed up above, would be a 1083 rate, or 1.2% increase. And as you can also look at that, that's still about $3 below the average rate of our comparable communities. So anyway, that's what I would propose that you consider this evening, and I would try to answer any questions that you may have based on that proposal.
That would be accepting the contract with Brake Brothers for the ensuing year.
For the 1-year period, yes. And I think I would add to that as well, is that last week the announcement was made, reference Ingenuity Worldwide is the new master tenant at the Plant Science Center. They are in the biomass fuel industry, where they're basically trying to use a plant material, in essence, as an alternative fuel source. One of the things that they do look at in their product is compost, yard waste, wood waste, and they are having a conversation currently or soon with Brake Brothers regarding the potential for using this material as well. So we're hoping that there may be an alternative offset of this in the future, if that would work out as well.
Sounds like a good solution to me.
We will, if we agree, we will vote on this at our next meeting.
Right. I think what we would like you to do at this time is to say, yes, this is the general direction we'd like to go. And what we will do then is bring back to you at the next meeting a resolution to approve a contract with Brake Brothers, and then the resolution approving the rate adjustment.
If I remember correctly, and I'm not sure that I do, that was for being open on Monday, Friday, Saturday, was that?
That was what they were proposing, would be, I think it was a Monday, Friday, Saturday, I think it was, well, I have it here, I can look it up here. Kenzie, unless you have it right in front of you.
Didn't bring that folder in.
Okay, I do have it here, yes. Yes, it would be a Monday, Friday, Saturday, 10 a.m. to 5:30. That'd be March through a November timeframe, and December through February, the winter months, would be just Saturday only, which is what we're currently doing. It'd be a 1-year contract, and we can reevaluate it at the end of the year and determine again the direction that we wish to proceed based on additional information that may come forth throughout the year.
And Saturday is 10 to 5:30 also.
Same hours.
Same hours, correct.
Well, I believe that's hit what the council wanted, for it being open and no cost increase, so that sounds like a pretty equitable deal.
I think it's fair. It's a small increase, but it's a lot better than where we were looking. So we'd ideally like no increase, but
Yeah, I'm good with it.
Okay, we will proceed at the next meeting. We'll bring those resolutions forth, council.
Okay, next we have the claims.
Move to pay the claims?
Second.
Botts,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Lesh,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Williams.
yes.
Council comments. Councilman Butts.
Well, I appreciate the work that was done on this brush removal, this brush and compost operation, and I really feel like this is, as Chris said, this is fair. Also, it's great to see that we're going to get a good deal on our street work and a good deal more streets worked on. So that's all I have.
I'd also, I mean, you guys put a lot of work into trying to figure out something, because this is what, third council meeting now we've talked about this, so good month and a half or more trying to get this worked out for everybody's benefit. So I do appreciate everybody's help. I do have one other thing though. We all got this letter in here in the packet, and I'm not going to go into detail on the letter really, but I do agree with one part is how much is enough time, because when I drove here for tonight, I drove by some of the same places that I remember driving by when I was up for election when I first ran over 4 years ago. And so I think it's a fair question of how much is enough time to get the situation taken care of. So I don't, and we've all talked about it, but nothing ever moves forward. So I don't know how we move this forward to get something going.
One suggestion that Rita and I have spoke about would be to have a discussion currently with the municipal judge, with our prosecutor, and our individuals that write the tickets and so on, and let's talk about how we can move this thing better. Because we have some issues with some tickets still hanging out for, mowing of grass from last year. Obviously, that probably isn't going to happen now. So, I mean, we're at a point, some of this needs to move quicker, and we need to figure out what do we need to do different, even as a staff, to prepare them to make that happen in the court system. Because there's certainly something falling that isn't working. And I'm not trying to place blame at any particular spot by any means, but so that's
No,
where we were
and-
going to start.
Yeah, no, that's why I didn't want to go into detail, about the whole thing. Just the one thing that did strike me was, when I read it and I read that one part of, how long is long enough, and then I drive here and I see the same house just on my own street, at the top of the street, the corner house, half falling apart. It's been that way since I ran 4 years ago, and it's like, what do you do? I understand they get continuances. I understand that's fair, but when is it beyond fair? And I think when you're talking years, you've been way beyond fair at this point to some of these people. So that's my 2 cents. So, thank you.
Councilman Nichols?
Also happy about the bids on the road projects and the concrete. And thank you a lot for the work on the combos and brush grinding. And I'm also happy to say that the city of Mexico owns the biggest snow pile in Mexico right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it's kind of nostalgic. It looks good out there. It's kind of dirty, but it's definitely snow. Hope that's the last we get. Oh, you're great.
I have no comment.
You have no comments? Okay. Bruce?
The only thing I would comment on is, of course, the Ingenuity Worldwide becoming the new tenant at the Plant Science Center. We are very happy to have them in the community and hope that what they do works out, and there is great potential there if it does.
Okay. Okay, again, thank you for all your work on this brush and compost situation. It was truly an effort by all, getting advice and going back and working out the details to at least keep our increase to a smaller amount, and our citizens with the ability to still drop off brush some periods of time. So I think that's a good thing. Welcome to Ingenuity to our community. I think that's going to be a great thing for our community. Again, I would remind everyone that this is a startup business, and we pray and hope that it will be successful, but it is a startup business. So we hope that many good things come out of them as the new master tenant in that facility. There was a couple of weeks ago, there was a letter to the editor in the paper concerning speeding in Mexico, and I've noticed over the last few months that there is a lot more traffic in Mexico, and I think that's a good thing, because I think there's people doing more shopping, and we have 2 new grocery stores that people shop at now instead of driving to other communities. But I was a little concerned about the person's comments, and maybe we could add some clarification to that.
Yes, and Susan, I believe you have some general numbers that you would be willing to share.
On the few days that there hasn't been snow and ice on the ground and given people a chance to speed this year, we have written 6 speeding tickets just since the first of the year. Looking back across several years at ticket writing, I came to the conclusion today that one of the major reasons why the writing of tickets may be down a bit is that Stuart Thompson is no longer writing tickets. And he was good for 200, 300 tickets a year. So, but we are addressing that. We have, just today, we ordered our new radar guns that were part of this last year's budget. And so they're on their way, and that will help us, and we will address that. I don't know that speeding is a relative thing, you know, but we will be adding some people on the street to address traffic enforcement across the board, and kind of redeploying some people's, that was already our plan for this year. Ari had developed that. We'll be taking part in all of the traffic initiatives, like St. Patrick's Day, the Youth Seatbelt Initiative, the After the Prom Youth Initiative, the Memorial Day, all those kind of things. And we're arranging people's hours to put 3 more people on a regular basis out in traffic enforcement only, and the SROs will be doing that in the summertime when they're not otherwise employed.
Looking at the general numbers the last 3 years, though, it's not like the last 3 years, you've seen an increase this last year even over the previous year, though.
Right,
As far as number
yes.
of citations as it relates to traffic.
And the number of traffic crashes, which is the number one reason for doing traffic enforcement, is to keep traffic crashes down. They've remained sort of in the same ballpark, and with a reduced number of tickets being written.
I would just say, my observation is, I guess the people aren't out there because, I mean, you guys know, I mean, do you guys talk to the county and the state? Because the county and the state are enforcing out there on 54 now, and I see them pulling people over left and right by our store. So, and I know back in the day, there used to be an officer that would sit over in the church, not in the church parking lot, but one thing down, and they would just pull people left and right over there.
What we try to do is we try to address traffic in areas that are experiencing traffic crashes. And if there's an area that has never seen a traffic crash, then we don't want to deploy people and take up their time in areas that are not an issue.
But that wouldn't be the case out by my store. There
Right,
was a
there's-
fender bender there this afternoon,
There's,
just
you know,
down
and
the
that's
street.
the thing,
so.
that is not necessarily, that's not a speed issue there. That's people just trying to negotiate the traffic and the arrangement of traffic coming on and off the street there. So that's really what that is. That's an engineering issue and not so much an enforcement issue.
Yeah, I was just making the comment because I used to see officers out there, and the state has upped their patrols out there because they did different on the speed limits, because they come in and eat all the time and talk to us. So they're upping their enforcement, and so we see them pulling people for speeding all the time down through there now, but we don't see Mexico out there very much at all anymore. So I'm glad to hear you're going to put some more people on the street to do traffic.
Right.
So that might be a good thing.
While we're talking about crashes, when the young gentleman pulled out in front of the 18-wheeler in front of Walmart last shift, where we had to work the accident on the road, felt real safe having your officers directing traffic around us. It's always a good feeling. They kind of got your back out there, so tell them thank you.
Yeah, they do a good job.
Yeah.
They really do. And let me take this opportunity to say, just today, 3 separate people have either called or sent an email or somehow let us know that appreciating the efforts, the individual efforts of some individual officers that from either representing us at the funeral of the firefighter that they lost in Columbia, or some personal issues. So we've been getting some very good, comments and remarks, and it's not like their only employment is traffic enforcement. They are following up on a lot of crimes. They are solving a lot of property crimes, and their efforts are not going, unnoticed about the things that they do.
I have a question, Chief. I can't think of the term, I've been sitting here trying to figure out the term, but the radar unit that you set up on the side of the road?
Oh, the little trailer thing?
Yes.
We take it off the road in the wintertime.
But monitoring that over time, do you see any help of speeding? I mean, you see that it slows people down, or do you monitor what the readings are?
It doesn't do that for us anymore.
Okay,
All it does is flash up the speed anymore.
all right.
But we do put it out in hopes that it does catch people's attention and reminds them to slow down. And it'll be out now that the snow is gone.
A very unique little thing, you had a public safety officer sitting on, I think, Heisey off of Muldrow. And all of a sudden you see brake lights coming on you because they see the officer sitting there. And then for some reason, there's some of the white cars start parking in the same spot. So you always see brake lights going, there's a white car there.
Okay, I want to thank Russell for all his efforts in the ingenuity thing, and I know that was a long ordeal, working that out and getting the new lease and everything signed there, so thank you for your efforts on that. Any other council comments? Public comments. Do we have any public comments? Seeing none, I move we adjourn.
Second.
Botts?
Yes.
Miller?
Yep.
Lesh?
Yes.
Nichols?
Yes.
I was going to let you answer again.